All right, Leah, good to see you. I was so excited to see you guys back for season two. So good. So good. I was thinking while I was watching this, watching the first two episodes of what they gave us, Frank Jr., Sabrina Carpenter's Man-Child song. Have you heard that this summer?
Oh, no, I've got to.
Yes. So it talks about a guy being a man-child. I feel like Frank Jr. is in his man-child era where maybe he's been a little bit too coddled by his mom. He's trying to figure himself out on his own. But here is Nancy. She's fighting for him. And it's definitely one of those things. Is she going to be able to get through to her son?
Well, you have to tune in, but I think it's like chipping away. He is his dad's, kids are born, with things that I'm just defending her because he really is ridiculous. He's not the brightest bulb. So kids are born, with their own personalities, but I think she finally can kind of get through to him because of her own journey, I think she has to kind of take responsibility for herself before she can be a good example to him.
Do you think that there were some blind spots in her parenting in that, not that she's a bad parent, but like she just thought this is the way to do it. This is how I raise my son to be a strong man.
Yes, there, and I think she was misguided by her husband too. Like he didn't he was a I think a really bad father. She just like kind of let him be that way. But he's making decisions, just kind of based on, I mean, we do some pretty bad things to him too, to be honest.
Yeah.
Kind of gang, we kind of gang up on him. That's really interesting when you're in a series because they write things and like the whole first year, the first season, I was like, this character, what is she doing? And then they kind of pay it off in the second season. So I'm really excited that we got a second season so I could see the growth of Nancy. I could see her breaking out of her shell and moving forward and learning how to take care of herself and yes, becoming a better mother, I think.
I feel like that growth really started in season one. The moment she took off her wedding ring, that was the thing, even though it's a physical object, that was really holding her back. And I feel like just physically removing that particular bond just started to open doorways for her.
Yeah, I thought that was beautiful how they did that. And I think a lot of people could relate to it. I mean, it's very hard to be a widow and you maybe start when someone's gone, sometimes you you kind of just want to hold on in a certain way. And I think, and it was also interesting in the second season because she goes through this whole thing off screen. Like she starts dating Pastor McGregor, who is probably only the second guy she ever kissed in her whole life. But you don't get to see it. But that's okay.
We get like
Okay.
the cheek kiss.
Yeah, so I think she really, you're right. She really grows once she kind of lets go of the past, and decides she still has a future. And that's one of the things I really love about this show, and I love about Hallmark is that they do give space to women, my age and so that they can be full people, with regrets and with a path forward and romance and mistakes and all of the things because we're all just like works in progress for our whole life until it's gone, I mean, everyone's hopefully still trying to become a better person and learn things and apologize and forgive yourself and all those things. And I love that they give Wendy and I that opportunity.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see. And I think it's really beautiful to watch Nancy navigating the dating scene, which obviously has changed tremendously since she was dating her now deceased husband. that awkwardness is really fun to sort of play off of that dynamic. And, in the first two episodes, you see it like, is he going to propose? Like, is he? But it's so embarrassing because we've all done something, maybe something not that grand, but just thinking that a guy that you're dating might just be like, you're going to move in together or like, we're going to be exclusive and you're totally misreading the signs. It's so awful to go through.
Really embarrassing to shoot. And I had to direct that myself. Um, and
What were you telling yourself?
well, though, but the real thing, one thing that really weird that happened was I like fell into a C stand, which is like this big metal thing like this. So I fell into it like this. And so I had this like black eyes and this huge welt on my cheek here and this big welt on my face here. And then I had to shoot a bunch of scenes and then I had to shoot that scene. And I was like, this guy, this lovely actor is so much younger than me, and I've got this huge welt on my face, and I feel really ugly. And but it was just I used it to help me feel really awkward in that scene that I had this massive welt on my face and a black eye.
I'm glad you're okay because a C stand landing on your face is not does it hurts. It hurts a
I
lot.
landed in it. I tripped and fell in it. And I heard my nose. I was like, my nose broke. I just knew my nose broke. The whole crew was like, but I had these glasses on. I think it saved my nose.
That's see, our reading glasses help us.
Saved my nose.
It does. I'm there with you. Well, you're talking about directing. You're an experienced director already, but I'm curious when you're on a set wearing multiple hats, you're starring and you're directing. Does it wind up offering you more insight into all of the relationships in this small town? Because you're looking at it from a different lens and a different perspective.
That's just such an interesting question, and it's really true. And what I felt like was so great about it for me was that I got to really invest all of my heart and soul in the first two episodes because I got to direct. So it was like it's like another level of investment because I also got to work with actors that I never got to act with, So that was really fun. And it was also really fun because every new season is kind of a reimagination. You kind of learn what worked from the last season. There's new people. We had new DPs. We had a new showrunner who worked in the last year, but she was taking the helm, so she added kind of a slightly different vision. The network has certain things that they want that they maybe didn't get the last season. So I got to feel like I really could invest everything in the show, which was so fun. It's fun for me to be all in. When you're a smaller character and you're only in a few scenes every once in a while, um, it's for me not as fun. I like to be like fully invested in the show, and so I got to do that, and it really. I hope I did a good job, and I really had a great time. And also directing such wonderful actresses was just a complete joy.
Well, I love the fact that this show is so focused in on the generations of women and how they all interact together and the dynamics of all of that. And one of the beautiful things that came out of season one and continues into season two is Amanda and Nancy's relationship, which I'm a little stressed out about because of Frank Jr. and everything that's going on. Because this was such, we always have those tropes of like the evil mother in law, it's not that. This is a really beautiful, almost mother and daughter relationship.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I think actually people can relate to that in a way because I think sometimes you're found family in your family. Like I have a new son-in-law and I just love him so much and it's so fun. It's like I love family, so having more family seems like the best thing in the universe to me. And when I think you can be really surprised by how you can love someone that's not your blood. And so I think that also once they have a kid too, it's a whole thing too, because I have my first grandbaby.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I think, yeah, Amanda is so, I mean, Skylar's the perfect casting for Amanda because she's a lot like her. She's like the nicest person that ever lived in the whole history of the universe. And Amanda's like that too. So I think they just have this real pure, true love. And it's also really interesting that Gus doesn't get jealous of that, really. You know what I mean? That she's open heart, with her closed fist of a heart, she's
Yes.
opened her heart enough to be like that, like, I love you and I'm glad that you love my daughter, which is great.
Yeah, because there were so many dynamics going on that we saw in that first season, but just to see all of the women really embrace each other and less about rivalries and more about the romance of the women this season from all different angles.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. And it's more of like us against the world, which is kind of lovely too.
I love that. Is Nancy, though, ever going to be able to sort of lean in with Pastor McGregor in her romance? Is she going to trust her instincts with him? Because we already know that she's feeling awkward, but
I think so. I mean, I think she has a lot to learn because she is kind of inexperienced. And I think, he is such a wonderful guy. So she's going to really have to figure out what she wants for herself, which is always hard for us women, like to put ourselves first before the guy. And I think that's what she kind of has to try to work on learning.
I,
But he is a great guy and such a lovely actor. It was really fun to work with him.
well, it's so funny you're saying that too, just like of putting herself first. I talked with Skylar just previously about this, and like Amanda needs to get her sparkle back. She has all these men chasing after her, but do you love yourself enough first? Which is kind of maybe Nancy and Amanda are going through the same thing, sort of.
I know they are. They are. And they're similar in their personalities in a lot of ways, like people pleasers and all of that, which is really probably why they get along so well because they see each other in each other.
Yeah,
And
it's that mirror reflection back at each other. Like, I got you, girl.